Welcome back to the channel for a very special video. Today we're in the sea and we are going to be talking about Wrexham Football Club progressing to the fourth round of the FA Cup for the first time under Ryan Reynolds, under Rob McElhenney, under Phil Parkinson. Wrexham Football Club have defeated a Premier League team in all competitions, and what a way to do it. It was just a fantastic game of football. If you hadn't watched a football game before and this is your first football game, you'd watch that and you'd think, this is the best sport of all time. It is the best sport of all time. It's the best sporting competition in the history of sport because the FA Cup can produce some absolutely brilliant games. We've seen with Wrexham, we've seen with Macclesfield beating Crystal Palace. It's just an incredible competition, and one of the first opening games of the FA Cup third round, this was one that I'm sure a lot of people watched and thoroughly enjoyed. So today we are going to be going through Wrexham Football Club's 3-3 draw in Nottingham Forest, but of course Wrexham progressed on penalties, winning 4-3 thanks to incredible heroics from Arthur Okonkwo in goal, saving Igor Jesus' penalty, and the deciding penalty from former Arsenal Academy graduate Omari Hutchinson, who Okonkwo did actually play with in the academy. But yeah, before we get going in today's video, if you would like to see more Wrexham content, it's coming your way on the channel. Make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button. We're on the road to 29,000 subscribers and it's a special video. I want a big like target. Let's go for 400 likes on today's video because that was a special night, and let's celebrate it by just discussing everything that happened in this game, because I think everyone deserves their plaudits in some way. I think it's only right that we do start with the defence, and we're looking at the back three. I said in my match preview we needed to be strong. If we were going to block out Nottingham Forest's front four, you could say, with the central attack midfielder, the two wingers and the striker, we needed to be very solid defensively. Yes, we conceded 3 goals, but Dom Hyam, Callum Doyle and Dan Scarr were incredible. And you're looking at Dan Scarr, he's coming back into the starting 11, slotting in that centre-back role for Max Cleworth. And he just didn't look out of place at all. Dan Scarr, what a performance that was, coming in against Premier League opposition, and he just took that role with ease. And you're looking at Dom Hyam as well, just an incredible signing, an incredible centre half, a late bit of business in the January transfer window. He's come in and just revolutionised our defence, brought that experience, brought that calmness to the back line, and of course getting on the score sheet as well, his first Wrexham goal, a very commanding display from him. And Callum Doyle on that left hand side, an incredible footballer. There were questions made when he made his first couple of appearances. He dropped out of the starting 11, but since coming back in about a month ago, he's not put a foot wrong, and you can tell with his quality on the ball, his passing into the final third, his passing into the midfield, the progressive passes that he does offer to obviously the players further up the pitch. You can tell he's been in the academy at Manchester City, because technically on the ball he's very good. He's very commanding like Dom Hyam as well. He's good in the air. The amount of blocks that Callum Doyle made, just through the roof. You couldn't probably count on 2 hands because he was absolutely fantastic. A brick wall at the back, and I've got the stats down here. 21 duels won between the back three and 13 blocks. Like I said, we might have conceded 3 goals on the day, but for a team in the Championship, for Dan Scarr, who's not a regular in the starting 11, Callum Doyle, who's not been a regular at all as well, but Dom Hyam, of course, being a regular, for a back three like that, who have been, 2 of them in and out of the starting 11, it was a very solid defensive display against a Premier League side who Igor Jesus starts regularly, Omari Hutchinson is a regular. They brought on Morgan Gibbs-White, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I think, to put it into perspective, striker up front Igor Jesus for them, who's playing up front on his own, he lost the most duels in the match. He lost 16, so I think that says it all about Wrexham's brilliant defensive display. And then moving on to midfield, absolutely fantastic. I mean, I could be sat here all day talking about how good the midfield's been, not only in this game but throughout the whole season that we have played in the Championship so far. Ben Sheaf, George Dobson absolutely ran the show against Nottingham Forest. You're looking at Douglas Luiz for them. I think George Dobson got the better of him. And I think the thing is with Dobson, a lot of people sort of class him as that midfielder that might not be very good on the ball but will provide that constant running throughout the game, and that's what we might have seen last season in League One. But as time has progressed and as the Championship season has kicked off, Dobson has become that player that's become really good on the ball. He's technically very good in the tight spaces. He's good on the ball. We've seen his set piece deliveries get so much better. That cross for Dom Hyam's goal, absolutely fantastic. It is a Kevin De Bruyne-esque free kick. And from that performance, you're looking at Ben Sheaf and you're looking at George Dobson. I would not be surprised at all if those two did a solid shift in the Premier League, because they're up against Premier League calibre midfielders, and I would like to say they got the better of them. Dominguez, Douglas Luiz, I think Morgan Gibbs-White was probably Okay, he's playing in that more advanced role, but I think he was probably their best player on the pitch when he did come on. But you're looking at George Dobson on Wrexham side of things, 2 assists for him on the day, and the composure and the quality both of them do have on the ball not only just showed last night, but has showed all throughout the season. And I think for those two, it's 2 performances that they will never forget for the rest of their careers, because like I said, they ran the show, they were fantastic. The composure, the passing quality that they do provide in the team, you know, if they pick the ball up deep, they can just spread it to the channels with ease. Their passing quality is just an absolute joke. The composure, they keep the structure well in the midfield, they offer that persistent running, they make it awkward for the midfield, and what a performance that was from them. And speaking on the attack, I mean, Ollie Rathbone was playing in that more advanced role, but he's really adapting to it in midfield, that advanced role that he has been called upon by Phil Parkinson to play. You could say it's a shadow striker, central attacker midfielder, whatever it is working for Ollie Rathbone. 4 goals in his last 7 games since returning to action. And you're looking at his performance, he was one of the best players on the pitch, but in terms of the game, obviously it went to extra time. Ollie Rathbone played just over half of the game, but had such a big impact. He scored the goal, his running, his just persistent running, like I said, his persistent running, his persistent press, and his quality on the ball is just incredible. And I think it's incredible to see the comeback that he has had since obviously returning from injury. We saw the articles a couple of weeks ago saying he was close to quitting football, he was in a dark place, but you're looking at the comeback now. Incredible Ollie Rathbone yet again. 4 goals in his last 7 games. He's come back a bigger and better version of himself, which I didn't think was possible given how he ended last season in League One, but we seem to have seen a hungry, just a better version of Ollie Rathbone since he's come back, and he well deserved his goal because he played an absolute blinder in that game and has done ever since he's played since his return from injury. I think as well, talking on the other 2 forward players, Nathan Broadhead, I think that's one of the best performances I've seen from Broadhead in a Wrexham shirt yet. You can really tell that he's one of the best dribblers in this division. With the ball at his feet, Nathan Broadhead is one of the best players, if not the best player in the Championship. Just his ability to work around tight spaces, you know, beating players just with absolute ease. He plays like he's playing in the playground, and I think it's all down to the role that he is now playing in the starting 11 for Wrexham. Phil Parkinson has now realised that Nathan Broadhead is the better version of himself and is the best version of him when he's playing in a slightly deeper role. We saw it, I say, towards the first half of the season, the first half of the first half, if that makes sense, where he was playing in that front 2 with Kiefer Moore. He wasn't getting much of the ball. We were relying on him to sort of stick up front and stay sort of just outside the penalty box, which I don't think was working. We didn't see the best version of him, and I think you could tell by his body language and his performances that we weren't seeing the best version of Nathan Broadhead. But Phil Parkinson has dropped him into sort of that central attack midfielder with the likes of an Ollie Rathbone, with a Josh Windass, and he's just seeing so much more of the ball. He can travel with it. We're seeing more goals and assists be registered to his name, so it's clearly working for Nathan Broadhead, and we are seeing an absolutely fantastic player, and a player that's well worth the £10 million that we did spend for him. And if you are looking at Sam Smith as well, Sam Smith, take a bow. I think he might have got man of the match on the commentary, or he might have got Wrexham's man of the match, because what a player, what an absolute player Sam Smith is, and what a shift he has put in since being called upon from Kiefer Moore's injury recently. And a lot was, I think, was asked for Sam Smith to come into the starting 11 and do the role that Kiefer Moore does do. Okay, I think we knew that Sam Smith wasn't going to score as many goals as Kiefer Moore has. He's still got 2 goals for his name, but the shift that he is putting in up front for us is absolutely incredible. Constant running. He was coming up against a 6'6" defender in Jacques Cunha, which I think he got the better of all throughout the game. Okay, you could say he might have scored that goal and it would have been a completely different game and game over if he'd have scored on the stroke of half time, but you forget about that when you see a striker for 100 minutes run his absolute socks off and just make it uneasy for the Nottingham Forest defence, because it's exactly what you want from a striker. It's exactly what any manager wants from their striker, especially in a big cup tie like this. To last 100 minutes, and given the fact he's played a full 90 in the previous games a couple of days ago and so forth, and after that over the Christmas period, absolutely incredible. For me, I think it's tight between Ben Sheaf, Callum Doyle and Sam Smith for man of the match, so take a bow, Sam Smith. That was something special. And I would like to touch upon just the small subject of Arthur Okonkwo. Wow. What a performance yet again, doing it on the global stage in the FA Cup third round against Premier League opposition. It only seems now that people are really understanding the quality of goalkeeper that Arthur Okonkwo is. We've seen it so many times in a Wrexham shirt. We've seen it since his first game in League Two. He's going to go right to the very top. The 2 penalty saves were an absolute joke. The second one was just ridiculous, something you wouldn't even see probably in the Premier League for most Prem goalkeepers. A strong hand. It's a great penalty from Hutchinson. And, you're looking on social media, on Twitter, etc., loads of big accounts posting about Arthur Okonkwo saying he's England's future number 1, he's Nigeria's number 1. We really don't know at this moment in time where his sort of nationality allegiances lie, but again, it's an incredible performance from him. I would look back on it now and say this is one of the best signings under Ryan and Rob, because to win the race to get his signature in is well worth it now, because he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Championship. So again, an incredible performance from Okonkwo, and one that I'm sure will live long in his memory. Yeah, and I think I would like to touch upon Nottingham Forest, because I think it's important to, coming into this game as the Premier League side, they were obviously favourites coming into this game. They made a couple of changes. I think they made 8 changes to their team, but obviously on the stroke of half time they brought the big guns on: Callum Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, all of their consistent players that were playing the starting 11. And I think the subs did change the game. Hudson-Odoi getting a goal, and obviously getting the late on equaliser. Gibbs-White as well, just a brilliant play with the ball at his feet. You could really tell the levels between a Championship and a Premier League player. I think Gibbs-White, absolutely fantastic. Of course, it's expected after he was linked with a £65 million move to Tottenham Hotspur in the summer, but you're looking at Zinchenko, you're looking at McAtee, Morato. They were poor, they were really poor, and I've seen Nottingham Forest fans all across social media saying they don't want to see these players play for their club ever again. I was surprised by Zinchenko. I was really surprised by his performance. A Premier League winner with Man City, consistent performer for Arsenal over the past 2 seasons that he was there, and of course last season he didn't play much, but he was just awful. He was god awful, and it's something you don't expect to see because he's still relatively young. He's a Ukraine national. I think he's the captain for Ukraine, but the amount of time that he was giving Longman down that right hand side, and he was giving him the space, and then when Longman was taking him on, he was just getting beat every single time. And the players like McAtee, Morato, Zinchenko, it might be a one-off, but they were really poor, and in that game they didn't even look up to the quality that it is in the Championship. Something else important to note as well, it was obviously before kick-off when everyone looked at the lineup, they saw no Max Cleworth, and then the rumours started resurfacing that was on the internet about a month ago, I'd say now, that he's going to Aston Villa for £12-15 million. He's not going. Phil Parkinson said he's heard nothing at all. He suffered a groin injury away at Derby County, which is what I was expecting to hear. Obviously, he missed out on the lineup against Blackburn Rovers, came back in against Derby, and it's obviously an issue that's played up again. So for him to get the rest, I think was much needed, because I think I saw after the Blackburn game, or before the Blackburn game, that was the first time he hadn't been in the starting 11 since a game that we played in League Two. So it's well worth a rest for Max Cleworth, and I think it's well deserved because he's been a consistent performer for us throughout the past couple of seasons. But to reiterate, he's not going to Aston Villa. I don't think Wrexham would sell one of our best players halfway through the season, especially now that we are a league below Aston Villa. If we were League Two, maybe we consider it, but for now, Max Cleworth isn't going anywhere. He's contracted until 2027, so like I said, he's ours for the next 2 years as it stands. And yeah, I think overall, if you are neutral, like I said at the start of the video, it's just the magic of the FA Cup. That game really highlighted how magic the FA Cup is and how alive the FA Cup is. And you see all these managers play their weaker team, this, that and the other. That really does show that the FA Cup still means something to the fans, the players, the lower league clubs, because you've got 120 minutes of end-to-end football. You wouldn't think that was Championship against Premier. You'd think maybe it was Premier League against Premier League, because Wrexham really held their own. And, it's a credit for the players that went out there and lasted 120 minutes. We went toe-to-toe with a team that are playing Europa League football this season, that nearly finished in, the top 4 in the Premier League last year. We're in the top 4 for the majority of the season. Okay, they're not doing as well this season, but you're playing against a quality team that had a squad value, I think, of around £285 million compared to Wrexham's 38 million. So it's a credit to this football club. It is a fairy tale upset. Don't let anyone try and tell you it's not, because this is a big moment in Wrexham's history. It's a big moment to really just show to people that Wrexham are here to mean business, and let's hope that we can get a big tie in the next round. It would be nice, again, to get maybe a lower league team to sort of enhance and improve our chances of getting through to the next round of the FA Cup, the 5th round possibly, but we'll have to wait and see until the next round draw. But there's been some special moments at the Racecourse Ground in recent years, but that is a game that will live long in the memories of Wrexham fans. It's a game that is going to be remembered remembered for years and years to come amongst the Wrexham faithful. So what an occasion and what a win for everyone involved with the football club. So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who would you like in the next round of the cup? But until then, take care guys. Up the Championship Reds.